Hey, what's up, everybody? Chief here. Thanks for dropping by the podcast. Hopefully, everybody has been having a pretty good weekend. Let me know if the audio is good. Alright, so we've got some audio. Oh, Christ, okay. 1 second, guys. I don't know what's going on here. I've got some dropped frames. Let me try and get that fixed real quick. Hopefully, I don't drop the stream, but if I do, definitely hit a refresh. But I want to make sure that I get this taken care of before I get too much into it. So just hang tight for a moment, and let me make sure that everything is solid on my end. So let me just reconnect here with my router. All right. So it looks like I was able to get a reconnection there. So let's see if that helps it. But man, I have no idea what the heck's going on here. I was having some issues last night as well with the stream lagging. So I'm not sure what it is. So just one more second. All right. Well, it's looking better. It's just YouTube is saying it's not looking all that great. But it's probably about as good as I'm going to be able to get it. Anyway, hopefully this issue gets resolved. So let's go ahead and get into it here. What's up, Kind, DK, Rock, Waffles, Tom, American Monster, Lonnie, Pro Killer. All right, quite a few people here. Hopefully everything, like I said, stays good on the stream. Looks like it's doing a little bit better here. So welcome to the podcast. Today's podcast topics are going to be COPPA, or the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act. I kind of briefly have discussed it on some previous streams, but I wanted to get a little bit more in depth with it because this is something that affects not just me on YouTube, but also all of you, as well as, since you guys do use YouTube for viewing content. So there's some things that you guys probably need to be made aware of having to do with it. And COPPA is not, I don't know. Anyway, I'll get into that discussion here in a little bit. And then I also wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about the recent changes to MK2. I think most of you are probably aware of what those changes are, but I will go over it and see what you guys think of the changes, share what my thoughts are on them. And then finally, I wanted to be sure to do kind of a wrap-up talk about the Halloween event that just ended, and maybe get it a little bit into what some expectations are for the Christmas event that should be coming right around the corner. And anyway, so that's where we will get started. Now I'm still waiting for Islander to pop in, so I don't know if he's running a little bit behind, got called into work or something. talked to him last night, and he said that he was going to be here, so hopefully he is just a little bit delayed, and we will be able to bring him into the chat as well. It's good to have him on here with me, just because he has some views that I don't share all the time, and it's good to have kind of a different opinion on some of these things. And as always, I do ask all of you in the chat to help with the discussion by sharing what your thoughts are on some of these things as they come up. And if there's something else that you want to talk about, just try and put it there in chat, and I will do my best to go over it with you. But we'll just kind of start off here with COPPA. What is COPPA? So I told you what COPPA stands for, the Child Online Privacy Protection Act. It is a law here in the United States that is designed to help protect children, young children specifically, under the age of 13 from predatory practices online. And unfortunately, a lot of the big platforms like YouTube have not really abided by this law, even though the law has been around since like 1998. They just kind of blew it off, I guess, and were collecting people's data that they knew were underage children and serving them up with targeted ads, which they got caught. It's their own fault for doing it, but needless to say, they ended up paying almost $200 million in fines, and now there's a bunch of changes that are expected to come to YouTube. Now, one thing that you all as viewers need to understand, that COPPA does not apply specifically to YouTube. It applies to the entire internet. It doesn't matter what country you're in. It doesn't matter, anything. It's just it's for the internet. It is a US law, of course, but it does fully apply to most of the big social media platforms, because most of them do business here in the United States, so it affects everybody. And some of the changes that are expected to happen is that every channel that uploads content has to designate if their content is targeted for young children or is not targeted for children. Now, of course, all of my content on my channel, I don't specifically target young children, but the way the law is currently written is very broad, it's very vague, and there's a lot of confusion on it. Along with that, YouTube is kind of taking a hands-off approach as far as creators go, and they're saying, okay, well, you can either designate as child-friendly or not, and if you get it wrong, you're subject to lawsuits from the Federal Trade Commission as the creators, and that could be pretty costly. They can sue you for up to $42,000 per video that is in violation, which is ridiculous. Now, if a channel decides to, just kind of be safe, or maybe they do target young children, they can just say, all right, I'm going to market accordingly, and that's what, then they won't be subject to a lawsuit. But as soon as they do that, then YouTube will take action on all of that content by making it to where the video cannot have any comments on it. You can't have any in-screen cards. There will be no notifications for new uploaded videos. So if you designate like your entire channel as being family friendly or kid safe, then it doesn't matter if people subscribe to you or not. If you upload videos, nobody's going to know about it. The algorithm for YouTube is not going to recommend it to people. People will no longer be able to share your videos or save them to watch later, add them to a playlist, none of that. So that's really how it's going to affect you as a viewer. Even though they are really targeting content creators with this, it kind of has a trickle-down effect to everybody. Along with that, all the content that is designated as targeting for children, basically YouTube is going to not serve targeted ads on those videos. And many content creators rely on YouTube, especially the bigger channels. Obviously not mine, I have a very small channel, but many of the bigger channels rely on YouTube as their sole source income, and ad revenue is what covers a large portion of that. With YouTube no longer serving targeted ads on a content creator's video, there may still be some ads, but the ads are not going to earn as much for that creator or YouTube that they did before. So they're going to lose at least probably 90-95% of their total income, which, for those bigger YouTubers, they're probably going to just stop making content because it's it gets pretty expensive to run a big channel, and if they're not making any money out of it, then they probably won't do it. I see a couple of people here are a little bit familiar with COPPA. Let me see just real quick. Lonnie have I seen the video from the lawyer on what YouTube left out of COPPA? Yes, actually I did see that, and what Lonnie is referring to is, well, first of all, if you guys spend any time on YouTube, which obviously you do because you are here, you have probably at least seen some kind of videos pop up about COPPA. Now, there are some actual lawyers that have YouTube channels here on YouTube, and they've made a few videos as well. Now, I'm not going to personally offer anybody legal advice because I can't do that. I'm not in a position to do that. But there are some lawyers out there that do have YouTube channels and are talking about this. And the one that Lonnie is mentioning is a YouTube lawyer who released a video, I believe it was yesterday, talking about how YouTube basically failed to give us the third option that COPPA has written into its laws. YouTube is presenting it to the creators, saying you have to choose. You are either making content for kids or not for kids, either or, only the two choices. But the law for COPPA itself specifically says that COPPA will not apply to content that is designed and targeted for general audiences. That means, yes, kids might be interested in it, but it is also of a lot of interest to the adults. So, that is another kind of, I don't know why they would not tell us that or give us that option, but it's kind of important that we do know about that, and I'll kind of get into that here a little bit more. But I do see the Islander just popped on the chat, so let me go ahead and bring his ass over here into the channel. What's up, Eddie?
What's going on, brother? Sorry I'm really late.
Hey, all good, man. Glad you made it.
Thank you.
Anyway, I was just kind of going over some general COPPA stuff, and one of the viewers asked about that video from the lawyer that got posted yesterday about what YouTube specifically left out of their announcement regarding COPPA, as far as that third option for general audiences.
Yeah, that was very interesting. Why YouTube would choose to leave that out. Not sure what they're thinking or what they're planning. Somebody says it's revolved around money. YouTube generally would not make as much as a profit if that was there. Kind of have a hard time understanding that, the creators are the main resource or source of income for YouTube. So why would they cut any of that out?
Yeah, I have no idea. I think, and actually, I watched another YouTube video today. They kind of puts a little bit more into perspective, but it looks as though YouTube is actually looking at changing some things with monetization and ad serving and things like that in general across the platform that could in fact benefit all of the content creators, even with COPPA. So yeah, general audience is what it's like Lonnie was talking about. So yeah, that is a big deal, Lonnie, and I'm glad that you mentioned that. Looks like Waffles. Sorry, I'm trying to keep up with the chat here and not fall too far behind. But Waffles was talking about the broad terms. Do pretty much limit or put every video at risk. COPPA states that if a video contains animations, bright colors, or openly advertises, then it's subject to COPPA. And genres for videos as well. You know, a lot of it has to do with what your video is about. And you know, like myself and Islander, we have gaming channels, and specifically in COPPA law, it does specify several times throughout that electronic gaming, video games are considered to be kid targeted, but once again, that is without taking into consideration some of the rest of what is written into COPPA as far as general audiences, because obviously a video game like PUBG or COD Mobile that is heavy on violence, it's rated at teen or 17 plus, but I don't remember the exact rating for those. They're obviously not targeting young children, yet it is a video game, so there's some gray area. So you know, I'm not.
Yeah, I mean the overall rating system for video gaming, okay, it gets submitted now. When you make a new game and you put it on Google Play Store, you put it out anywhere, it gets a rating. Okay, now War Robots has not had their rating updated. So when the game came out, I would definitely say it was friendly to everyone. Okay, but things have changed a lot since the release of War Robots. Now we have advertisements in the game. We have a gambling system in the game. The game is digital purchasing. Okay, so there is what I would call violence. I mean, you're out there to eliminate your opponents. Okay, and every time that you take a robot down, what does it say? Kill. Okay, so the game has evolved. I think the rating needs to be redone, and the rating should evolve with the game.
Right, and I agree too, and really, I think for most gaming channels, I'm not too concerned about COPPA and its application, but you know, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't concerned a little bit, specifically about War Robots, because it does officially, as of today, have a rating of ages 12 plus, which COPPA applies to anybody under the age of 13, so there's that 1 year overlap there of 12-year-olds that technically could be wanting to play War Robots, but you know, have the COPPA law applied to them. You know, and I don't know. I mean, there's things that I've already been doing to try and streamline my channel personally, not only to come into compliance with COPPA, but as I grow as a content creator, I want to do things a little more professionally, you know, make it look better, you know, just basic streamlining as I grow as a creator. And but you know, like Islander, he recently started putting, you know, that you have to be age 13 or older just to watch his videos, and he goes through a statement, you know, at the start of all of his videos, and you know, I think that's helpful because it does identify your channel as not being targeting for children, but at the same time, I don't think it's like an absolute going, you know, get out of jail free card to do those things.
No, absolutely not. I just want to, I mean, since COPPA has come into play, and you know, my channel and the way I deliver the game is, you know, it's not as clean as you and Adrian and Manny and Foggy. You know, I do have some adult language on my content. I'm a little bit rougher around the edges, you know, and I accept that about myself. I didn't come in to try and be anything other than who I am. So, you know, I really don't beat around the bush very much when it comes to my opinions. You know, I try to tell things the way they are because that's the way I want people to talk to me. You know, be straightforward. So if I'm going to have adult language on my channel, and now we have COPPA getting into the mix, then I think it's only fair that I put out a disclaimer, you know, letting people know that, yeah, I have some adult language. I mean, I don't sit there and drop F-bombs after every, you know, in every sentence, but, you know, there's a few words that do slip here and there. And if parents have an issue with their under 12 or 12 and younger watching my content, and that's why I threw that in there as well, that, you know, parents, if you hear your child watching this video, it's not for them, okay? And everything else that we have in the game. So that's but COPPA can come in, or FTC can come and say, I don't know, you can put all the disclaimers you want. Your content is still kid directed, and then I'll have to address it at that time.
Yeah. And let's see, Ryan was talking. He says that YouTube is slitting their own wrists. It's just his opinion. They are going to lose so much money. Um, Initially I was kind of thinking that too, because YouTube, especially with as far as gaming channels, I mean, YouTube is huge as far as gaming channels goes, especially for mobile gaming. YouTube is the premier um, location for mobile gamers. Twitch does. I mean, they snub their nose at mobile gamers. Um, so it's really all about YouTube. That's like the home for mobile gaming, and it's big money for YouTube. They do treat gaming channels a little bit differently than they do regular channels, but it's a huge source of income for them. But that does kind of bring me on to something else I mentioned a little bit earlier, about a new video that I watched today, talking about some changes that YouTube is going to be going over, and what this has to do with is monetization. Because currently, right now, as a content creator, once you meet all the requirements to monetize a channel and have ads served on the channel, YouTube will begin showing ads on all of your videos, and it'll be either eligible for monetization or not. And previously it was kind of decided on, based like if a video had copyright infringement, or if it had too much adult content. I'm not talking like nudity and sex and things like that, but just cuss words, or killing and things like that. Then they would demonetize your video, and if your whole channel had too much of that, then they would just demonetize your entire channel. But now, based on what I was seeing on this other video, and the source of this video actually came from a creator's newsletter from the CEO of YouTube, and they're basically going to be changing their ad targeting, not as far as how they target videos for ads, but who they are trying to get to buy ad space on YouTube. Traditionally, YouTube was really pushing over the last several years the family friendly environment. They didn't like it when people cursed. They didn't want, videos with a lot of violence, things like that, and they would demonetize your videos for that, or your channel. Now they're basically going to get rid of demonetization, because instead of going after advertisers that only want that wholesome family friendly type of ad and platform, they are going to start looking for advertisers that are a little more willing to pay big money to put ads on more adult oriented videos. So I think that alone should give some people a little bit of a sigh of relief for their channels, as far as COPPA is concerned, because like most other creators on YouTube, like when I first started, I was doing everything I could, don't curse, which is tough for me, because I'm retired Navy. All I know is to cuss. So so it's really difficult for me not to slip every now and then. But since this whole COPPA came out, and I know that, hey, I don't really have to worry so much about a young child watching my video, because that isn't my target, and I never really had to put it in that perspective before. But now I do, and I know that is nowhere near my target. I think my average viewer is over the age of 30. So that's who I'm targeting, and so if I drop a couple of f-bombs or say some things every now and then, I'm not too worried about it, which is good for me, because it lets me be more me. But I also, at the same time, with some of these changes that YouTube's making, I also don't have to worry about getting demonetized as much as well. So
Right. Howard Pettis is asking, how does COPPA work for YouTubers outside of the U.S.? Albert, YouTube is a United States-based company. Therefore, they are subject to U.S. law or whatever it is here. So if you are in a foreign country but have a YouTube account and a YouTube channel, or you're a creator, okay, you're the system where your channel is monetized is the U.S. And by that control, they can monetize, demonetize what goes on, or control what goes on. Now, let's say, for argument's sake, YouTube was based in China, okay? I think it would be a little bit harder for COPPA to regulate what goes on and what's said and how things are worked. I could be wrong. I mean, I could be wrong, but I'm not sure exactly how it works, if it is a global deal or it is just the United States and the regulations here. Chief, you got any insight on that?
As far as how it's going to affect overseas content creators?
Well, I know how to affect overseas content because COPPA will regulate YouTube here because they have control because they're inside of the U.S.
Right.
But let's just say that YouTube had a secondary platform, iTube. It was based out of China. What would happen then? I mean, how would COPPA regulate something that is outside the U.S.?
Well, if the company is wholly owned and operated outside the U.S., COPPA does not apply. But most of the popular social media platforms on the internet are based in some part in the United States. Therefore, COPPA fully applies, even if it's only part of the company that is based in the U.S. or if, same thing with a company like, say, iTube, like you said, that's based in like China or somewhere else. COPPA cannot directly sue them necessarily, but if they are putting content and it is being viewed in the United States because they are targeting viewers within the U.S., then they could actually get their whole app shut down, so it's not even available in the U.S. It's just it's kind of shady how it works. But yeah, it's I don't know. I think somebody else mentioned it earlier. It's not about parenting; it's about big government. And yeah, I would agree to that. I think in this instance, the government is definitely stepping in where it probably shouldn't. But fact is, it's a law. It's on the books. Now we have to deal with it.
Right. Exactly.
And let me see, Lonnie was mentioning that YouTube could add an age gate so that before they can even watch, the user verifies their age. I've heard that as well. You would literally have to sign in with your account, and if you're under the age of 13, you sign in. If you sign in on your parents' account or you grab your parents' account, then technically that would be parental consent. So if I give my child my tablet and say, yeah, you can watch YouTube, I'm giving them effective consent to get on YouTube and watch it. So, I mean, a sign-in would be great, but do you think actually people are going to sign in and out every single time they get on? It would be kind of hard. Maybe a box that they would just have to tap that they're confirming that they're over the age of 13. I don't know. I mean, there's something they can do. Yeah, there's definitely things that could be implemented on YouTube's side, but I think they're afraid of losing revenue, to be honest with you. I mean, how many other web pages do you go through for other products or whatever it is, but there's like an embedded YouTube video on there, right? And you don't have to sign in because you're not actually on YouTube, but it is playing a video that is hosted on YouTube. So they're going to end up losing a ton of, funding and advertising and stuff if they were to implement just a straight up login to watch type of system. I'm not saying that wouldn't effectively solve this problem, because it absolutely would, but I don't know enough about their business to know how much of a negative impact that would have on everybody. So
gotcha. Hey, Adrian Chong says he's going to go to North Korea. Hey, take me with you, buddy. I'll go with you. We're going to do a North Korean YouTube.
Yeah, that would probably You know, it is sad though. I mean, because um, kind of a lot of the reaction that people are garnering from this whole COPPA thing, with the, perceived, whether right or wrong, the perceived undue influence of the U.S. government, is reminiscent of some of these heavily regimented communist countries. You know,
Yeah. You
so
know, and one thing that I mean, the big deal with COPPA and YouTube was that they were collecting cookies, they were collecting data on minors. Okay, then YouTube turns around, I guess, kind of hangs out the creators to dry, saying, you know, your content has to be marked for children or not for children, yada yada. But in defense to the creators, there's not a single creator on YouTube that has any type of control over what type of data is collected and what type of videos are aired on their channel. All of that is done by Google AdSense. So, you know, a fair defense that every creator would have would be, I don't collect a single amount of data. I posted my content, I put it on YouTube. I trust in good faith that they're going to do what they're supposed to do. I'm signed up on Google AdSense, who puts the advertising on the channel. It is their job to regulate it. They're solely responsible for accountability as far as what ads go on those channels. Now, if that was the case, then, you know, don't do a targeting ad. I mean, me as a gamer, you as a gamer could actually select what type of advertisements we wanted on our channel, just like advertisers select us. Okay, if you are a kid content creator, then you would select child friendly, I guess, or some type of child, but there would be no collection of data. You have a toy collecting channel or a toy opening box channel, then most of your videos are going to be, of course, about toys. So I don't know, that would be something that could be worked out, but there's not a creator out there that collects data and targets it to anybody.
right. Turbo Knight was asking, what about animation channels that target teens but have lots of colors? And that's something that actually kind of we talked about that new video that came out from the lawyer yesterday, that was discussing, you know, the fact that YouTube is not addressing that third category of general content, which is
for children and adults.
Right. So as far as the actual law that's written, if an animation channel, and even one that has lots of bright colors, if it is presented in a way that is definitely targeting older teens or young adults, then according to the way the law is written, I would think they would probably be okay, but they have to be very careful because, you know, something that, like, say, a 13 or 14-year-old might really be into, an 11 or 12-year-old might also be really into. So, you know, it's kind of going to be up to the content creator to figure out how to balance that if it's so close to that age cutoff. But, you know, previous to that video pointing out that third category to everybody, there was a lot of belief that, you know, anything with animation, even if it was strictly adult animation, anything with toys, even though it was, you know, it could have been a channel of, you know, rare antique toy collectibles, you know, that a kid would not like or even, you know, play with, or anything with, you know, super bright colors. But, you know, every single video on YouTube has bright colors in their thumbnails. So you know, there's a lot of things that that people were really concerned with, that as long as we can apply that common sense that it looks like the COPPA law actually has written into it as far as the general audience is concerned, then I think a lot of people will be okay. But you will see a lot of changes to some of those other some of the big channels, you know, like the toy review channels that have like 18 million subscribers and make millions and millions of dollars, you know, every year on YouTube. They're going to get hit hard, absolutely, and there's no way around it. I mean, they are 100% geared towards young children, and I don't think there's a way to argue that. But I'm actually a little more or a little less concerned the more I look into it. But there's still that chance because it is not black and white as far as this is okay, this is not okay. So yeah, I mean, there's still some concerns, and that's why I wanted to bring it up here in the discussion, because these are things that you as viewers are also going to have to deal with.
Yeah, like Chief said, it is a very gray area. Now, from what I've understood, I mean, totally are what they're really looking for. All right, are people that are misrepresenting their channel. You say your channel is for adult audience, but you come into the content and you got somebody there singing Baby Shark. Well, that's not an adult channel. Okay, that's a child channel. What they were looking for is misrepresentation. Okay, but since the description is so vague and so gray, who can end up getting caught up in that? All right, who's gonna think their channel is not geared towards children, but find out that it really is, and you're gonna take a 90% hit on your revenue, especially for these creators that have made a livelihood out of YouTube. That have they don't work jobs. YouTube is their sole source of income. So they're gonna have to think about what they're doing, how they're gonna play it. Okay, I mean, I know a lot of creators are starting to leave the other channels or other platforms. It's been based on the internet that right now there's a mad scramble, I guess, for YouTube creators that are planning on leaving the platform and try to get them over into Locomotion and Versa and all these other platforms that are now emerging, which are kind of carbon copies of YouTube. But at some point in time, COPPA is going to apply there as well. But you can run, but you can't hide. So,
right, and that kind of brings me to Patrick. Said that he disagreed with my position. I'm not sure which point. It only takes one bad apple. In this case, it is YouTube illegally collecting info on everyone, to include children, if they would put everyone's privacy over profit. I'm not sure what you're disagreeing with, because I don't disagree with you. YouTube 100% was breaking the law. They knew they did it, and they were blatant with it by coming out and saying, hey, we're the #1 platform for young children under the age of 12. They were selling that to advertisers, even though their platform as a whole requires you to be 13 years old just to get an account. Yes, so, I mean, they screwed up 100%. But it also goes to what Islander is talking about, that it doesn't matter what platform you're doing it on. YouTube was just the first big one to have the lawsuit and settle with it. So there could be other lawsuits currently going on against some of these other bigger platforms. I don't know, but this law does not limit to YouTube. And I can tell you that just about every single company out there that has a platform on social media, on the internet, they all collect user data. Okay. Now,
if you take the time to read, I'm sorry to interject here, Chief, but if you take the time to read your user agreement with YouTube, Patrick, you're going to find out that when you click that I agree, in that agreement is your consent to them collecting data on you.
Right. So
it's in there.
And I mean, it's common practice, and I mean, I understand some people are not into letting their data out there, but the fact is that these platforms, the internet as a whole, they collect data on their users, the habits of their users, what they do, how they're doing it, and the collection of the data in and of itself is not illegal. And in most cases, not always, but in most cases, I think is done to better personalize the user's experience. Now, there are some companies that do take advantage. They push it. They're a little bit too much. But I'm just saying that the general idea behind serving up personalized ads is to better your user experience on the platform.
I agree with all that. I do like the fact that when I get on gaming or Yahoo or whatever I'm on, that I see advertisement of things that I'm interested in, cooking, barbecuing, gaming, stuff like that. I would not want to get on a platform and see advertisement for women's garments. I would be off on that. But YouTube did break the law because they were collecting data on children under the age of 12, although they claimed that they were not, and then going out and attempting to market it. thus really just they really shot themselves in the foot. Now they're going to try to wash their hands with the creators. It's not going to work. You'll see lawsuits from creators coming up. I mean, everybody in this country is susceptible to a lawsuit at any time. So I mean, you can see a class action lawsuit emerge from creators against YouTube. So many things can transpire from here. So hopefully they get it all in order. Though I mean, YouTube is not going to sit on their hands and just let all this fall apart. They'll get their team together. They'll come up with ideas and ways to market and try to keep their content creators and find new ways or new avenues for them to stream revenue on how they could actually do advertising.
Yeah, and I mean, everything is advertising based, so it's not like they're gonna just suddenly stop doing advertising. That's how they survive. That's how they run a business. That's what pays for it. And that's something else to remember with YouTube. They are not looking to lose money in this. They I'm sure don't plan to lose any money. So they are going to do what's necessary for them to not only survive but still thrive and continue making the billions of dollars that they make every year from advertisers. So anyway, I mean, we could kind of go on for days about COPPA, but what about we try switching, talk a little bit about War Robots instead?
Not a problem. And no, I'm not hating on women's undergarments, Keen. It was just an example.
All right.
All right, let's go over to WR for a little bit.
So, what's new in War Robots? Oh, that's right. MK2 is new in War Robots. And the big change that came out, I think most all of the YouTubers made some kind of a video or addressed it in some way,
shape or form.
Yeah, something to let you guys know the change to MK2 came about. Now, this was a change that none of us knew was even being considered or coming. But overall, I think it's a great change. I mean, it's an awesome change. I think it's going to help just about everybody in the community. Though I have come across a few people here and there that think that it's bad, or they're upset about it because they didn't have anything at level 12, so they can't take advantage of like this this limited time offer to enhance your stuff to MK2 at only 1 gold per item. But and yeah, I mean, I guess I feel bad that they aren't to that point, but for everybody else that is, I think this is just a great deal. And MK2 is really going to help close that gap between the regular players and those top tier players that are rocking all MK2 maxed gear. You're not necessarily going to beat them, but it's going to put you a little bit closer. So
yeah, it is within the first within the first day or day and a half. I could instantly see where people were hitting just a little bit harder. Okay, it's some free-for-all matches. I think I would go, and of course now I'm taking a look at everybody's gear, what they're using. I'm seeing a lot of MK2-1, MK2-2, MK2-3, where people are starting to upgrade that gear a little bit. All right, and I do like the way they did it. I do like the 1 gold. I think it was a good plus to everybody. But the fact that you turn it into MK2, all right, and you don't have to put it back on the shelf, is a huge plus. It really, really is. And the fact that they did the special for 1 gold, they're gonna get 2 thumbs up from me on that one. I think that was a really, really good deal. So on that note, I don't know what else that they could do to improve that. Okay, I do like the way they restructured the
silver cost.
The silver cost. Okay, where I think it's you get up to level 5, then you hit that 22.5 million or whatever it is going to be to upgrade from there. I'm sure that the prices will change from light to medium to heavy. But the fact that it's let's say I'm sitting on, let's say for argument's sake, 36 million silver, I can upgrade it and then start the grinding out, all right, to get that next level up. And it's so much easier to get to 22.5 than it would to be get to 36, to get to 50, to get to 72 or 77 or whatever it is. You know, I like the structure that they made on that.
Absolutely, and I think that's one of the best changes. And part of me actually hopes that this could be kind of a testing for them, maybe to do something similar with MK1 level gear. Because, I mean, even though it equals out to be the same amount of silver overall, just like you said, it's a hell of a lot easier to farm out that maximum 22.5 million per level than it is to save until you have, you know, 30, 50, 70 million silver just to go one level on one piece of gear. So I think that's just, it's awesome. And
Adrian Chong just commented, in my opinion, just scrap MK2 altogether and make it level 1 through 24. Yeah, I mean, that would be great, Adrian. What that would do, technically, it just save us that little bit of gold that it cost us to go from MK12-1 to MK12-2. And I say a little bit of gold, 500 is really not a little bit of gold, right? It is actually a nice chunk. That is one idea that I would like to see if they would implement, which is, hey, let's get to level 24, and level 24 is maxed. You know, I would also like to see in the pilots category, and not to jump off topic here, but you know, the fact that anytime that we want to change a skill for a pilot, or we want to move the pilot to another robot, you know, you have to go through the whole scenario of spinning or selecting pilot skills for the new pilot that you put on a new bot.
yeah.
I think if anywhere you were to charge one gold anywhere, it would be there. You know, if you already got your pilot to level 70 and you've already maxed it out and you've already paid the ridiculous amounts of gold to get it there, you should not have to be continue to pay gold to change a skill on it once you've maxed out that pilot. They've collected on it. You know what? Help the players out a little bit there.
Well, as far as going just level 1 to 24, that's essentially what they are doing. The only difference is, you know, the color and what they're calling it, but you know, level
500
yeah,
gold.
yeah, but level 13 doesn't cost you any silver. So at level 13 you have to pay gold to upgrade you know, that one level. But yeah, it is essentially level 1 to 24 at this point. So I mean, streamlining it though, I think would be nice if we could actually keep it reasonable on silver costs. Because you got to remember too, if they decide to go just straight up 1 to 24, I mean, are they going to get greedy as far as the silver cost, because it's no longer 1 through 12 repeat? Now it's, you know, 1 through 24, so you're going to end up paying like ungodly amounts just for one level, you know, if they're on the higher end. I don't know. But along with that MK2 stuff, part of me is kind of waiting for the other shoe to drop and see what they're going to take away, because for the most part, Pixonic is not known for giving something that benefits players without taking something away. So we're going to have to wait and see if that happens. I don't know.
Right. MK3. You know what? As far as people in the comment section talking about MK3, I think we're already at MK3, MK4 with all the pilot skills and the modules and all the stuff that we add to our bots, the additional firepower or speed or whatever we're adding to it, that takes place in the module. So technically, I think we're already at MK3 or maybe even MK4.
Yeah, people have been using the terms MK3, MK4, MK5 for quite a while now. If you look at boosters and modules and all that other stuff, every time they come out with something, it seems that people call it a new MK level. But let me see. Dark Warrior saying, no doubt it's a good thing, but they need to speed up balancing issues, silver upgrade costs, and income. Also matchmaking, phase shift, last stand, and deft survivor on leech. I don't disagree with you. But unfortunately, there's a lot that has to fall into place before they can, I think, solve those issues.
Islander Chief, what happens if you had a Beacon Rush, Domination, Team Deathmatch modes with Titan and the same modes without Titan? Well, I mean, if you're not at level 30, you're not going to have Titans. You don't get the Titan until you get to level 30. But if you're talking about making separate mods for that, all right, you are going to completely thin out an already thinned out player base. I mean, if you're going to have players playing on 6 different mods, maybe 7 if, once you include free for all, and 8 if once they include the one they have the skirmish on the weekends, your matchmaking will go completely out the window. I mean, you're gonna have guys playing champions and guys that are in bronze league meet each other because the player base will be so thin. Of course, I'm being sarcastic with that, but I don't think that would work out. I mean, you're either gonna have it all together or not at all.
Right, and I think you actually talked about this on one of your recent videos about people mentioning how they want new modes to come into the game or bring back King of the Hill or different things like that. And you know, you kind of mentioned a good point that, you know, as soon as they do that, that means more people are going to be playing that other specific mode, and it's going to thin out matchmaking in all of the other modes. So overall, I think the player experience is just going to be worse if they bring another mode into the game right now, or separate, you know, based on whether or not you have a Titan. Just get yourself to level 30 and you'll get a Titan, you know.
See, Jeremy, I have 3 kids. Should I be responsible for setting passwords on my kids and one for adult? Yeah, Jeremy. I mean, we kind of got it away from the COPPA, but yeah, the parenting should fall on the parents. I mean, you should definitely be as keen as to what they're watching and what they're doing. So, to answer that question, Adrian Chong, I think they need to look at the phase shift at some point. Yeah, phase shift has gotten ridiculous. I mean, every single game, you know, you run into everybody that seems to be phase shifting right now. I have kept my quantum radar on all of my bots. I think I have phase shift on 1 out of the 4. That's just the Aljun in case I land into a bad spot or make a foolish move. But phase shift is definitely becoming an issue for the game, and will they address it at some point? Not sure. I mean, I think Adrian, you probably have more insight on that than I.
Well,
let me know, buddy.
I like how he mentioned some pilot skills because, you know, phase shift is bad enough, but then you have somebody that has that pilot skill which allows you to double phase shift, and now you're just like sitting there like, okay, well, what am I supposed to do? That's 10 seconds. Plus, if they have a last stand, now you're looking at, you know, 15 seconds where they're completely invulnerable and you can't do anything to them. And no matter what robot it is, by that time, it has its ability back. So that's just, it's
I agree.
a little ridiculous.
No, it's not the Death Survivor, it's the other one. But yeah, I know which pilot skill you're talking about. American Monster, I want to know how we're going to get platinum and how is it going to be earned. As far as I know, what I heard early on, AD, was that we're going to be getting it in the daily task. Now, I'm sure we're going to be generating some kind of platinum throughout the match, all right? I'm just kind of curious, what type of platinum are we going to be acquiring? Is it going to be as bad as the silver payout? And if that's the case, then Visa and MasterCard, sir, will buy you some platinum.
Yeah, that's a guaranteed way to get it. But no, I do agree that aside from them saying that they were going to give everybody at least a little to start off with, which we still don't know how much that's going to be, you know, I think the only way for sure that we know you're going to get platinum is to spend money. And if you don't want to spend money, then hopefully there are other ways. Hopefully it's something like, you know, a daily task, or I don't know, something. But
now I imagine maybe at the beginning the platinum playouts will be pretty decent, okay? Or we may be acquiring it in the anywhere from supply drops to the black market, the special delivery, stuff like that. I'm pretty sure they'll give us different avenues to collect that platinum, okay? But I can see it from going very good to mediocre very quickly, kind of like you know, that we did with the operations. You know, operations would be another place we could probably acquire platinum. You know, from Gathering Storm to Raging Typhoon, I think it would have a fast start and then get leveled off like everything else has in this game.
Right. They're gonna be careful with how much they dump into the economy initially, and then they're going to adjust from there. And usually, when they make adjustments on economy things, it's not in the player's benefit. So, I think you've mentioned that though before, Islander, that you recommend don't spend your platinum, don't upgrade all the stuff for the Titan, especially the free one, because it's probably not going to be the best one.
No, it's not going to be the best one. And, you know, I'll probably upgrade the weapons, you know, before I upgrade a bot at all. You know, and these are just the first 3 Titans that we're getting in the game. All right. I'm pretty sure they have a nice little business model back there somewhere of new, more powerful Titans that we release in the game. And if and when that one big meta Titan comes out, I want to make sure that I have the silver, or the platinum, right, to upgrade that particular one. So I'll be holding on to a majority of my platinum. Yeah, probably doing the weapons, but that's about it.
Yeah, weapons should always be a priority on a robot, even if it's a giant one like a Titan. I think weapons are definitely going to be the most important thing to get upgraded. Let's see, MixFant Gaming suggested to rework phase shift, to not negate the suppression and lockdown effects, allow players with phase shift to escape through obstacles since firepower goes through you, but if you unphase inside a structure, you die like you would in water. Interesting, but I mean, I think on a physics level, if something like phase shift were real, then people would be able to walk through buildings and walls in phase shift. But I don't know. I just think there's so many ways that could be taken advantage of.
Yeah.
And can you imagine a hacker?
I can see that being manipulated big time.
Imagine a hacker that keeps themselves in phase like the entire match or something. I don't know.
Or a bug that will let you stay in the wall and you shoot through the walls while nobody can shoot you.
Yeah.
We've seen that one before. Or I have.
Yeah, and as far as phase shift goes, I mean, I know there's a lot of people that aren't happy with it. Myself included. Do I use it on some of my bots? Yeah, not on all of them because I think it's ridiculous. But keep in mind that phase shift at the end of the day could, and I'm not saying it will be, but it could be completely removed from the game because it's an active module. Nobody paid for it. Nobody invested anything into it. It's strictly a feature of the game, and they can remove it just as quickly as they put it in. So, if people are really upset about phase shift, put in those comments to the help center in the game, and let Pixonic know that you don't like phase shift and you want them to get rid of it or make changes, whatever your idea is. George asked, did something happen that to us guys that broadcast, we got in trouble? No, we have not gotten in trouble. We're just gonna try and prevent ourselves from getting in trouble as far as COPPA goes. Don't want to get too much onto the COPPA thing again, George, but search YouTube for COPPA and you will get a good understanding of what we're talking about there. But it was YouTube that actually got in trouble, not us. Oh, what else were we going to talk about today? The events.
Chief and Islander, what happens if the pilots could get out of their robot? Well, they do. They eject once we kill them, don't they?
Yeah,
they take off in that little stream of smoke. So I'm not sure what you mean by that. What do you mean, like jump out of your robot with a little gun, hit the ground, and go try to shoot a 50 or 100-foot robot? I'm not sure what I'm following you there, but yeah, you might reword your question there. Lockdown shouldn't negate phase shift. Lockdown should also be used as the same build as the mechanic, like Cryo does. I don't know. I mean, the phase shift is supposed to take you out of your sticky situation. So I'm sure some people like the fact that it doesn't. You're somebody who doesn't. And opinions would vary on that. I think we should just remove phase shift from the game altogether.
I would like to see phase shift gone. Of course, I wasn't happy about Last Stand either, but they would have a much harder time removing Last Stand from the game because of, that's
because
a
the amount of
digital,
resources that have been put into it
right.
already.
It's an item that was technically sold to players to use on their account. Um, and anyway, I wanted to also talk a little bit about the wrap up of the Halloween event that just ended this past week, and
All right.
talk a little bit about what kind of expectations we might have for the Christmas event that's should be coming up here very soon. But I guess I mean we'll still open up, additional comments and stuff to the viewers. But I thought I think it's important that we just kind of give an overall rating as an event ends, because that's the only way we're going to try and take a little control over these events and let them know if we liked it or didn't. As far as the Halloween event goes, for me personally, I think the format was great. They followed the format that I've liked them using, same one as the previous several events. But once again, there's two major issues that I had with the Halloween event. The first one was that they still have not adapted the events for people in lower leagues, which 20,000 honor points for somebody in Silver League is just impossible to get. So they need to really adapt that to be league based. And then the other thing is, man, the weapons just, I don't know, for me, I wasn't motivated. I thought that the new items they brought in with this event just kind of sucked. So I wasn't motivated to do the event personally, but some people enjoyed it. So I don't know. I mean, for me, I'm not going to give it a big thumbs up other than the format. I do like the format. But aside from that, yeah, I don't know. I thought it was boring. What do you think?
I like the update overall. I like the skirmish. Or, I'm sorry, the arena that we had there. It was a little bit different. Okay, same kind of thing, but we got to use some different bots in it. So I played a little bit of the arena. That was all right. The actual event itself, it was okay. I mean, they had the three primary new meta bots that were in it. All right, they did not put any Ares, and they didn't put any Nemesis, and they did not put any Fenrirs and Tears and all these other bots that I don't think anybody would like to target. They took the three main bots, and that was good. They brought the Thomas Minery, okay. They didn't add all the other different pilots that they could have, so they kept it kind of simple. All right. The only thing I would like to have seen added, all right, would have been potentially a few of the modules, the Last Stand, the Anti-Control, these modules that are very popular right now. I think they could have added those in there and made it nice. Maybe add the Adrian Chong, which is still one of the top pilots out there as far as being able to move it from one bot to another, and you don't lose anything as far as legendary pilots are concerned. So that's one thing I like about the Adrian Chong pilot. It's universal. Okay, it can go anywhere. So all in all, I'll give it a thumbs up. I'm not gonna get 2 thumbs up, but I'll give it a thumbs up. Hopefully on this next one, they'll add a few more of the modules in there. All right, targeted modules, and I think they can make it just a little bit better.
Right. I agree. I think I would have been a lot more motivated had they put some of the other items in there, like modules or general pilots, that can go on any bot, like the Adrian Chung pilot. I was glad too that they didn't have more Ares in there. Gosh, they've been giving Ares away in the events for like the last year now, and especially with the the nerfs and the leech and everything else that has happened with them. I'm glad they didn't put them in there. But I think that made the prize pool seem a little smaller. Some of the paint jobs also, like they had and it was a cool paint job for the Mercury, but there's also a legendary paint job for the Mercury in the current operation. So, I mean, you if you run one Mercury, it's not like you could put 2 paint jobs on it. So I thought that was kind of lame. And somebody else mentioned one thing. I think that was Lonnie mentioned using the same color for event tokens and keys.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
I saw that come up a couple times.
That they should kind of probably do a little more quality check on something like that, because it did confuse a lot of people, and a lot of people probably did spend quite a bit of money and got keys that they didn't want, thinking that it was tokens. So definitely, yeah, that really shouldn't happen. That shouldn't be a thing.
Yeah, I agree. I got hit up multiple times. People say, hey, I bought tokens today, but they gave me keys. I said, you need to go back and take a better look at it. Let me show you a screenshot. You actually purchased keys, my friend. Those were not tokens. And of course, they start to rant and rave, and I want my money back. I said, well, you need to contact and give me help and tell them that it's very confusing. Are you very confused on your purchase? You thought you were purchasing tokens. You actually purchased key, and see if they'll work with you, you know. But at the end of the day, yeah, it's a little confusing, but before we hit that buy button, you need to double and triple check what you're buying, make sure you know what you're getting, because you know, a little mistake like that can be. But I think you're right. I think they should change the colors. Whether they're going to have an event that's going to have red tokens, then they need to make sure that the keys are blue or green, or maybe yellow for that particular event. I don't know, something different.
Right. And let's see, Michael Thompson said there shouldn't be any components. And, you know, I kind of agree with that. And you know, I don't know. They were doing good for a while as far as components. They took them pretty much out of the game, and then they started kind of bringing it back here and there. And, man, it is annoying. But I think the reason they stuck components in for this last event was a filler, because if the components weren't there, then the prize pool would have been even smaller. And since for whatever reason they will not put the modules and other pilots and things like that in there, you know, that's kind of what they're left with, is just stuffing components in there. But I agree, components shouldn't even be a thing in War Robots anymore.
Yeah, the components era has come and gone. It needs to stay gone. All right. You know, I mean, I understand that they probably brought it back because of the price pool. I mean, other than components, what could you put in there? You know, Fenrirs, Ares, Nemesis, Rhinos. I don't know. I mean, they could put anything else in there, stuff that nobody would have wanted. At least with the components, you're going and getting progress towards a new meta bot. But I agree altogether. I don't like the fact that the components were there.
Right. See, Lonnie said that you'd like to see Last Stand and anti-control and stuff in black market chests. I'm right there with you. Makes no sense. They're worth less gold technically than some of the other things that are in the black market. So I don't know why they're not there.
Yeah,
they should be there by
I
now.
agree. I mean, if you can win 5,000 gold in a gold chest spin, why can't you win an anti-control or last stand, right, or even a battleborn, or any one of the meta modules? You know, to be more precise.
And Momo says we must give what's due. War Robots usually helps when errors are made, like when you accidentally sell a robot, they will help you get it back. And that is true. And I'm not trying to just sit and bash on them. You know, they actually have stepped in and helped correct accidental purchases or accidental sales that players have made that most companies probably would not help you with, you know, because, you know, you accidentally buy something, it's on you, you click the button, it's done. But yeah, they have actually gone out of their way and helped out a lot of players that have had accidental purchases. So you are correct on that.
Lonnie says, if no components at all, what happens to workshop? Well, you know what, right above you, Michael states that components should only be done in the workshop, and I'll agree with that. You should be able to, if you want to build a certain bot, you can build it with components or progress in a workshop, but not having it all over the place in our special event. You know what? Give me 10 million silver over and over again. I won't argue with that.
Right. So I mean, I don't know. I'm personally, I've never been very happy with the whole component idea of War Robots, because I mean, I don't want 25% of a robot or weapon. I want the whole damn thing, you know.
Right.
So it doesn't make me feel better to think that, oh hey, you know, I only need 10% more to finish building this robot or getting this robot. Hopefully I win the components. It just doesn't make any sense to me in my mind. So
Yeah, just give me the damn bot.
right. Now, looking at the Christmas event, I personally have not heard any spoilers or anything as to what we could expect. But I think if we sit and think about it, what are we going to kind of be looking at around the same time? Titans are going to be coming out, so there's probably going to be some kind of Titan related stuff during the Christmas event, I'm guessing. Which will hope
We should have a new operation already for Christmas as well.
right. And they did kind of give a little spoiler on the operation, as far as they did say that a couple of the community paint jobs will finally be making their way to the game through the next operation.
Yes, it did. The community paint jobs should be in the operation, so that's a plus overall.
And but as far as the Christmas event, I think it's probably going to be some of the same. As far as robots, I imagine we're going to see more leeches, more phantoms. As far as I know, other than the Titans, there's not really any new content that's going to be coming, unless they just surprise us with something. But I think all their focus really is on the Titans, so I do expect the Titans to be somehow involved in the Christmas event. And if they're not, at least give us the platinum, make that a way that we could win platinum to either buy or make or get a better Titan.
Yeah, I'm foreseeing potentially avenues to get platinum in the upcoming event. As far as what we'll see in our special deliveries, because we know we're going to have special deliveries, I really don't see them changing that game format, at least not this year. I mean, we're already coming towards the end of it. So, hopefully we'll be able to get it. Maybe they'll pick up on some of the requests that we've been making, and we'll be able to get anti-controls. We'll be able to get Last Stands and Battleborns and thermonuclears or whatever it is that people are targeting in the special drops, okay? As far as any new bots or weapons, I don't foresee that. Those of y'all that keep trying to ask about the 25%, I don't know if that will be back. I mean, that made a few appearances, and of course, I think they kind of spoiled us right away with giving them back-to-back. But are we going to get it back again? I would say highly unlikely at this point.
Right. See, Johnny Rico said that he has 16,500 leech comps and 20,000 phantom comps, and he won 1 leech and 2 phantoms. Man, I don't know how much you dropped on the event, but that's a lot. I mean, that's a whole hangar's worth of bots right there.
Yeah, I picked up 1 leech, 3.85 phantoms, I guess you could say. I won 2 phantoms outright. 1 with the purchase component, or 2.8 with the purchase components, and then I won another free one later on. So they did come up pretty often. I got 2 of them sitting in the hangar at level 1. Actually, 3 of them sitting in 2 of them sitting in the hangar. The other ones are still in components, and I just have the one that I use in my hangar. I mean, we only have 5 slots in a hangar, guys. I mean, we can't. There's no reason really to upgrade all those bots, but hey, y'all do you.
Right. Let's see, Turbo Knight's asking, what happens if they release a new robot or weapon and put it into workshop the next week it was released? Well, right now it takes about 2 to 3 months for a new robot or weapon to actually find its way to the workshop. They do.
That would be more wishful thinking on the player
Right.
standpoint. That's not going to happen, Turbo.
Thinking of something. Oh, something that I did want to mention as far as the leeches and the phantoms. They are pretty much the meta right now. Leeches, phantoms, and there's still people using a couple of other robots, but it's very heavy leech and phantom up at the top. And the one thing, even though none of those are in the workshop yet, they have really pushed a lot of those out to the players, either through events, giveaways, different. I don't know. I don't even know how people are getting so many of these damn things, because it seems that most matches you go against, the Rads. If it's a clan you go against, they have at least 12 to 16 leeches alone, just in a full squad. So it's ridiculous how much they've actually pushed out without actually giving it to the masses per se in the workshop. So I think for that, because these are very game breaking robots, I think that's good that they made them very attainable in different ways. So
Yeah,
that's just my opinion.
I've been getting a lot of insight for people. I guess people calling for the Al June to get nerfed next, or that's going to be the the next nerf bot. I don't see any problem with the Al June. I really don't. I think it is not a powerful counter to the leech, but it can definitely hold its own in a match. I don't see anything wrong with the Al June at this time, and I wouldn't see any reason why they would potentially nerf it at this point. So those of y'all that are out there that were hitting me up asking me about the Al June, I think it's going to stay right where it's at right now. I think it's pretty balanced. We're just seeing more of them.
Right, and I mean, people are pulling a lot of robots out to replace the Ares, because you got to remember, people had so many Ares in their hangars, and now
Right.
for the top guys, like Adrian said, China clan has 23 plus leeches in their squad. It's ridiculous. So most of them have moved straight over to leech, but for people that don't have 4 leeches to drop into their hangar, they got rid of the Ares and they pulled out more Al Junes, because a lot of people had multiple Al Junes. Al June had been out for a long time. They had gone through several events where they were giving away Al Junes, or you could win Al Junes. Plus, they've been in the workshop for a while. You could build Al Junes. I mean, hell, even on my baby alt account that's in Gold League, I think he's in Gold 3 now, he's got an Al June that he already built, and I never even played that account, and I built it from scratch. So, Al Junes are just real easy to get now, so that's probably why you're seeing so many of them. I don't think they're going to get... I mean, they could get nerfed, but I don't see why they would, because I mean, and I understand though that nerfs and buffs aren't based on how strong the actual robot or weapon is. It's based on sales performance and data that they use. You can refer to several recent videos that discuss that, but it is what they've admitted to even on dev streams, that they don't decide nerfs and buffs based on how strong the weapons or robots actually are. It is based on the data that they have. How much is being used? Do they want you to use other weapons and robots? That's what is going to determine the nerfs. And with I mean, yeah, there are a lot of Al Junes out there, but man, I think there's more leeches and phantoms out there right now than there are Al Junes.
Oh, definitely.
Well, I think we probably got about 10 minutes left if we want to just kind of open up to some last minute questions or comments to everybody in here. Yeah, I mean, I know I don't have a lot of info over the Christmas event, but I did want to kind of at least, kind of.
No, but yeah, you guys can trust that as soon as we get our hands on that information, we'll be bringing it to you pretty quick. Whether it's me, Adrian, Chief, AD, I mean, any of us to get that information, Foggy's gonna get that information. We're gonna bring it to you as quick as possible, guys.
Yeah, American Monster played against Gods and Sick squad, and all it was Phantoms and Leeches. And yeah, sadly, that's all it is at the for the top tier clans right now. And man, it's so... I mean, for me personally, I think it's just boring gameplay. The Phantom is hella fun to play, but there's no way I would want to run more than one Phantom in a hangar personally. And leeches, yeah, they're strong. I do run one leech. I have more than one, but I only keep one in a hangar just because I'm just not big on having multiples of the same robot. And the leech's gameplay just... I mean, it's okay, it's strong, but it isn't that fun. For me, there are a few robots I would consider running, maybe 2, because I find them a lot of fun to play. but leech is certainly not one of them.
Yeah, what we're doing in HC now, or what the guys are doing, like I have 2 leeches in my hangar. I'm actually upgrading a 3rd one, and we're actually gonna be running 2 hangars now. Okay, so if we fall into a match with random players, then we'll be using hangar 2. All right, and whatever we have in hangar 2, and if we drop into a match against gods or sick or any of the other clan that we know they're gonna bring 3 to 4 leeches to the fight, then we're going to match them with firepower and get that game on and match them punch for punch. But we've all been trying to set up our second hangars now. You know, it's crazy that a lot of us have sold so much stuff that we don't have second hangars. You know, so or enough weapons to fill a second hangar. But that's what we're doing at the current time because you know it's still, you know, even though people say that you know, we all love to go out there and seal club. No, we don't. There's no enjoyment in seal clubbing. All right, so we're actually gonna bring down our hangar just a little bit. I believe Adrian and his guys were doing that for a while. I don't know if they still do that or not, but they actually were playing, depending on who they were going up against, was what hangar they were running. Adrian, if you're still out there, confirm that for me, partner.
Yeah, I don't know. I know on when I do my streams and stuff that I mean I keep a second hangar that's got no premium modules in it, no last stands. Yeah, some of my stuff in there was level 1 or level 12 MK1. Most of it is not, but now some of it is low MK2 just because of this new change recently. But still, you know, no premium modules or anything on there, no last stands, no phase shift on my second hangar. And that's the one, if I know we're going against strictly weaker randoms and we're in a full squad, I'll drop that one. Because it's only fair. We used to try and do things like, oh, we would, you know, once we had them 5 capped, we would try and give somebody damage, but then they don't get that. They don't know that that's what we're doing, so it rarely ever worked. So now it's just better. I play a weaker hangar and just play. But use my main hangar against, you know, if we're going against stronger opponents. It's not like my stuff is super strong anyway, but it's still fun.
Lonnie, yeah, you're correct, Lonnie. A traditional Falcon is a solid counter to the leech. All right, he can just essentially just sit there. If you're going to be face to face, keep in mind that leech is probably not going to stay there and just trade punches with you. All right, he's got the speed to outrun you. He'll outrun you unless he's just a not an experienced player and thinks that he's going to sit there and trade punches with you. Yeah, the traditionalist Falcon will win punch for punch. All right. That's where the speed comes into play. That's why I like to play the pursuer versus the traditionalist falcon. You know, I can outmaneuver a traditionalist falcon with my pursuer. Yeah, it takes about 7 or 8 passes to finally chop that big oak tree down, but it is doable.
Right. It is a bit of a boring counter for the leech, but it is a counter still. Though I think you know, it's still going to be a limited counter, as with anything. If you drop against a clan that's running, you know, 4 to 6 leeches on the field at a given time, it doesn't matter if you're in a traditionalist falcon, you're just going to die. So, you know, it is what it is. But one-on-one, yeah, a T-Falcon is definitely a counter for the leech. The same with anything with corrosion is actually a decent counter to the leech. You know, that's why I run Vipers on my Aljun, between the built-in weapon that has corrosion.
That corrosion damage doesn't get passed back to you,
right?
Or doesn't get passed on,
right?
So yeah, that's a nice little counter there. I mean,
and it bypass corrosion damage. Not only does not get reflected back at you through the leech's ability, but it also bypasses resistance. So corrosion damage itself is not affected by the leech's resistance. So
leech.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kine says leeches, just like Ares or Aljun, really only a problem when facing multiples at the same time, and that's really the same with any strong robot in, you know. But we can't change how people play.
Yeah, I mean, of course, if you have a skilled pilot, you know, I mean, he can go out there in the battlefield and do ridiculous amounts of damage with with one bot. You know, if he knows what he's doing, he knows how to operate it. He knows when to attack, when to back off, and he can make the life of that bot last for quite a while. Yeah, well, then one leech could be a problem, but you don't run into that every single match, or you don't find those diamonds in the rough very often. But when you run into a whole team of misfits, and you know, then they want to bring 20 leeches to a match, you know, it's really no fun because everybody's just kind of leeched onto everybody. You know, you're just trading punches and everybody's only taking 10% damage. It's ridiculous, but it's been that way with the meta as far back. I think we've already discussed this a few times, but all the way back to the Rhino. I mean, I can remember going into matches where guys would bring 4 Rhinos to the game, and then it was 4 Lancelots to the game, and then it was 5 Spectres in the game, and then 5 of the Dashes are the Hashis, and same with the Aries. The trend has always continued. I've always wanted for Pixonic to add a value system to a hanger, all right? And so each bot would have a value, and let's say that you have 100 spots for those bots, all right? 100 points for those bots, and let's say your Aries is, your leech is worth 30 spots, okay? You run 2 leeches, that's 60 spots. So you only have 40 more points to fill out the last 3 slots. It's going to make you rethink about your hanger and how you're going to adjust to it. Will they do it? Probably not, all right? That's, I guess, shooting yourself in the foot as far as trying to sell a product-wise.
Any time frame for the Leech and Phantom coming to the workshop? Unfortunately, no. Nothing that we've heard directly from Pixonic anyway. So, but I would expect at least the Phantom to hit probably within sometime this month, or maybe not this month, but within the next month anyway. I would guess. This Phantom has been out for a while.
I think we'll see them there towards the end of December, possibly the New Year start. They did generally last 2 to 3 months before they put them in there.
Seal clippers on iOS are real. I think that's pretty real everywhere.
They're real on any platform, partner. They're real on any platform.
Where the heck is the Bastion? Oh, stuck in lore. Bastion is not. I don't think Bastion will ever be a actual robot in the game. Personally, I don't think that's ever going to happen. Hit that like button. 14 out of 50 viewers. Yeah, show a little love for the channel. Even if you disagree. I mean, it's okay if you disagree with me or Highlander here. It's still a place for you, so definitely hit that like button.
Yeah, we got 49 people watching and we only got 20 likes. What's up with that, fellas? Come on, guys. Like the hell out of that like.
But yeah, I don't know. I think that's probably going to be looking to wrap it up, unless you have anything more you want to talk about, Highlander?
No, but we pretty much covered everything that I think we needed to, or we said we wanted to discuss with the guys, pending any questions that they would have had for us.
Right.
Once again, guys, I do apologize for running late. I had to go take care of a few things. I thought I was going to make it back right at 5.